Okay, the title of this explainer is, well, it's pretty serious. And honestly, it's for a very good reason. We're going to break down some absolutely crucial, life-saving information about some hidden dangers that can creep up on us while we're sleeping, especially if you're over 60. So let's just get right into it.
Seriously, just let this question sink in for a second. We spend all day worrying about what we eat, if we got our steps in, all that stuff. But what if the riskiest choice you make, the most dangerous one, happens in that last hour before you turn out the lights? It turns out that exact time, when you think you're finally safe and unwinding, could actually be setting the stage for disaster while you sleep.
And this is why we have to talk about it. Take a look at this. The American Heart Association found that nearly half of all fatal cardiac events for people over 60 happen between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. I mean, that's shocking, right? Those are the hours your body is supposed to be healing, repairing itself, slowing your heart rate down. But if something disrupts that process, the results can be, well, they can be devastating. So how do we protect ourselves? Well, that's what we're here for. We're going to count down the 5 most dangerous nighttime habits that mess with that critical repair cycle. We'll start with number 5 and work our way all the way up to the number 1 deadliest, and honestly, the most surprising mistake of all.
All right, coming in at number 5, eating a big, heavy meal too close to bedtime. Now, I know, we've all probably heard this one a million times, right? But what's really wild is why it's so dangerous for your heart. See, when you eat a huge meal, your body has to send a massive amount of blood to your stomach to digest it. It's like your heart suddenly has to go run a marathon right at the exact moment it's supposed to be clocking out for the night to rest.
And let's talk about Margaret. She's 67. She felt totally fine, but she had this habit of eating a big dinner around 9 p.m. every single night. When doctors put a heart monitor on her, they found something terrifying. Every single night between midnight and 3 a.m., her heart was having these dangerous, irregular heartbeats. Her late-night habit was directly causing it. And that's the scary part, right? It's a problem you don't even feel until it's way too late.
So the solution here is actually pretty simple, but it's powerful. Just follow this one rule. Give yourself at least a 3-hour gap between your last meal and when you hit the pillow. Oh, and try to make that last meal a little on the lighter side. That one little change lets your heart do its job, which is to rest and repair, not work a second shift digesting your dinner.
Okay, on to habit number 4. And this one catches so many people off guard. It's simply going to bed even a little bit dehydrated. The tricky thing is, after you turn 60, your body's built-in, hey, I'm thirsty signal starts to get a lot weaker. So you can actually be dehydrated without even feeling thirsty. And that makes this a super common and really overlooked danger. And if you don't think it's a big deal, look at this number. The stats are just staggering. Being even mildly dehydrated can shoot your risk of a cardiovascular event at night up by more than 60%. But why? Well, think about it like this. When you're dehydrated, your blood literally gets thicker. It's less like water and more like, well, syrup. And that thicker blood has a much harder time moving around, and it's much more likely to form a dangerous clot, especially when you're lying still all night. Robert's story, man, it's just a tragic cautionary tale. He was 71, and he used to tell people he was proud that he never drank water after 6 p.m. Why? Because he didn't want to have to get up in the middle of the night to use the bathroom. But that choice, it cost him dearly. He had a massive stroke overnight caused by a blood clot. He made a trade. Uninterrupted sleep in exchange for proper hydration. And that is a trade that is just never, ever worth it. A trip to the bathroom is a small hassle. A stroke changes your life forever. All right, we're at number 3, and this is a big one. It's often called a silent killer, and that's undiagnosed sleep apnea. Here's what's happening. All through the night, your airway actually closes up, and you just stop breathing for seconds at a time. And every single time that happens, your brain goes into full-on panic mode. It thinks you're dying, so it floods your body with stress hormones, which makes your blood pressure spike like crazy. And this happens again and again and again, all night long. So please, I really need you to pay close attention to these warning signs. We're talking about really loud, chronic snoring. Not just a little bit, but the kind that shakes the walls. That is a massive red flag. Waking up gasping for air, morning headaches, feeling completely exhausted during the day even though you slept for 8 hours? If any of this sounds familiar, for you or for someone you love, you need to talk to a doctor about it. Seriously, it's that important. And if you need more convincing, look at the research from Johns Hopkins. If you have sleep apnea and you don't treat it, you are tripling your risk of a heart attack at night, and you are quadrupling your risk of a stroke. I mean, those numbers are just off the charts.
And what's really scary is that experts think something like 80% of older adults who have it don't even know it. It's a huge hidden crisis.
Okay, we're here, the final two, the two deadliest mistakes. And honestly, what makes these so scary is just how incredibly common they are. Let's get into it. Coming in at number 2 is skipping, delaying, or just mistiming your blood pressure medication. So many people are what you'd call casual compliers. They take it most of the time. But here's the thing. Every single morning, right around 4 or 5 a.m., your body releases a flood of hormones to get you ready to wake up. This creates what's called the morning surge, where your blood pressure naturally skyrockets. If your medication is worn off by then, well, that surge can be absolutely catastrophic.
But check this out, because this is fascinating. There's a potential solution here that's so simple. New studies are showing that if people take their blood pressure meds at night instead of in the morning, they can slash their risk of one of these events by almost 45%. That's a total game changer. Now, obviously, you have to talk to your doctor before making any changes, but that's a conversation you definitely want to have.
And this is why it matters so much. Thomas was 69. He was one of those casual compliers. He figured, what's the big deal if I miss a pill here or there? Well, he skipped 2 doses, and at 4:30 in the morning, right at the peak of that morning surge, he had a massive stroke. Those 2 little pills, that's all that stood between him and disaster. He was left completely defenseless. The takeaway here is just unavoidable. Take your medication every single day, at the same time, no exceptions.
And that brings us to it. The number 1 deadliest nighttime habit. The one that almost nobody suspects, because on the surface, it seems completely harmless.
Are you ready for this? The number 1 mistake is sleeping in a room that is too warm. I know, it sounds way too simple to be the deadliest, right? But the science behind this is absolutely bulletproof. See, when your room is too warm, your body can't just relax. It has to work all night long just to try and cool itself down. This has nothing to do with being cozy. It has everything to do with your core biology.
And this chart just lays it out perfectly. Look at the left side. In a warm room, your heart rate stays jacked up. You sweat, even just a little, which we already know thickens your blood. And you never get into that deep, restful sleep. Now, look at the right side. In that sweet spot, 65 to 68 degrees Fahrenheit, your body can finally do its job. Your heart rate drops, your blood pressure takes a healthy dip, and you get that deep, restorative sleep your heart desperately needs to repair itself.
Okay, I know that was a lot of scary information, but here's the good news. The really good news. This is stuff you can control. So we're going to pivot now from the problems to the solution. Here is your nightly protection plan, a simple routine you can start literally tonight that can cut your risk by over 40%.
Let's just walk through it together. Think of this as putting up a protective shield around your heart every single night. At 6:30 p.m., you're done eating. Last meal, make it light. At 8 o'clock, you have a nice big glass of water and take your meds. At 9:30, you walk over to that thermostat and set it down to a cool 66 degrees. And then at 10 o'clock, one last trip to the bathroom, climb into bed, and just take 5 slow, deep breaths. It's so simple, right? It's easy, but it is so powerful.
I just want to leave you with this quote because it really says it all. Think about it. Your heart has been beating for you nonstop for decades. It's never taken a vacation, never called in sick. What you choose to do in those last 2 hours before you fall asleep, that decision, right there, determines the environment your heart have to work in for the next 8 hours.
So, that leads to one final question. And this one's for you. It's a challenge. Can you commit to trying this routine for just 30 nights, just 1 month, to give your heart the protection it deserves? I have a feeling that after 30 days, you won't ever want to go back. Thanks for taking the time to go through this with us.